All right, let's kick things off. You ready to dive into some racing action?
Oh, always ready for some racing action.
Yeah. We're going to be taking a deep dive today into the Nordic Virtual League season opener
Yeah,
at Monza.
my go.
And it sounds like it was a pretty exciting race from the race report that we have.
Oh, yeah. That's
So
definitely a good one.
the report is written in that classic kind of energetic sports commentary style.
Love that.
Yeah. It's the best.
So get ready for some high-octane storytelling.
I am.
What really stood out to me in this report was the mix of kind of seasoned pros and then some new names that we haven't heard before.
It's always exciting to see some new talent coming in.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
And then also the weather.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like that played a big role in this one.
It does almost every race at Monza, it seems like.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, especially with how unpredictable it can be.
Yeah.
Even if the forecast says it's going to be dry, it seems like.
There's always a chance of rain.
Okay, so even before the race, there was already like this buzz
Yeah.
and this anticipation about, the new drivers, the weather, all that.
All the factors.
Yeah. So speaking of anticipation, let's rewind a little bit to qualifying.
Yeah.
And
The most important part of the weekend?
yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
One name that kept popping up for me was Coitron.
Yeah.
This was his first ever qualifying session, and he managed to get into Q3. Now, for folks who aren't familiar with the format, Q3 means he was among the top 10
Exactly.
fastest drivers.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment for a rookie.
Right.
Absolutely. Like, that's
Pretty impressive.
really impressive to see.
I mean, qualifying is just all about pushing your car, as fast as it'll go.
Yeah, it's all
The
about
fastest lap time.
getting that perfect lap
Yeah.
in and knowing the track, knowing your car.
Yeah, and to do that, in your very first outing, you got to have a lot of potential.
You do, for sure.
Yeah.
You do.
We also had another newcomer, Batman.
Yes.
Narrowly missed out on Q3.
Yeah. But I mean, still put himself in a
Yeah.
good spot for his debut race.
Yeah.
So,
Appreciate
some stuff.
So, and then we have in feet,
Yes. The
a veteran.
yeah, he snagged pole position.
Yeah. It means
he had the
fastest lap.
fastest qualifying time
Yeah.
and would start the race at the very front.
Yeah.
But
always a good place to be.
right.
Unless you're in feet, it seems like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he has a bit of a
Interesting.
curse, I'd say, when he starts on pole.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so.
Okay, so there was definitely a question there of like, could he actually convert that pole position into a win? Big question mark.
Okay.
Huge question mark.
Well, it sounds like the start of the race was absolutely crazy.
Oh, yeah. Twist lap.
Coitron
Yeah.
stalled right off the line
Right off the line.
and just barely avoided a collision with Joppy.
It was a close one.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I bet his heart was racing,
Yeah.
even more than usual.
More than usual, for sure.
Yeah.
First race jitters.
Yeah.
Got to get those out of the way.
It seems like those first lap jitters are something we see a lot in this league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Okay, so and in feet, despite, starting in a great position for the pole,
Yeah.
pretty quickly found himself in a battle.
Yeah.
He lost the lead to Alex
Yeah.
and then fell even further behind Garwain.
Oh, wow.
So
Tough start.
yeah, and it's a really good reminder that
Yeah.
a good starting position
Right.
doesn't guarantee
Doesn't mean anything.
a win at all,
It doesn't, anything can happen.
especially in those early laps.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We saw in feet battling with Tom Tarosa and Jop Flop.
Yeah, it was a three-way battle for a while there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Some intense racing,
yeah.
for sure.
Meanwhile, Kronks, who had some
Yeah.
pretty high hopes for the season.
He did.
Yeah, faced a very different challenge
Yeah.
than those guys battling for position.
Yeah. He had
It sounds like he struggled with penalties
a penalty-filled race.
Yeah.
For sure.
throughout the race.
Yeah, he couldn't seem to keep it on the track.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of track limit infringements.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess that really hampered his performance.
Oh, it did, for sure.
It sounds like his aggressive driving style maybe led to some of those mistakes.
It did, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's a great driver,
Yeah.
but sometimes, he pushes it a little too far.
Yeah. I guess it's just part of it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of mistakes,
Oh, yeah.
McStone's mentioned these blackout moments
Oh, yeah.
that he had during the race.
I think we've all been there.
Right.
Yeah.
Where you just
You lose focus for a second.
totally lose focus. And these are experienced drivers, but they're still human.
They are. They are.
Right.
They make mistakes.
Yeah, and I think
Just
it's like a good reminder of the kind of mental pressure
yeah.
these drivers are under.
For sure.
Yeah. And then there was poor Frick Soup,
Oh, yeah.
who ended up
I felt bad for him.
stuck in the gravel trap
Yeah.
and had to retire from the race.
That's never fun.
Oh, no.
You never want to see a DNF.
A DNF.
Did not finish.
Yeah.
Always disappointing.
Yeah, bummer.
Especially when it's not really your fault.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You just kind of get caught up in something.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
So up to this point, we've got lead changes, battles, penalties,
Yeah.
driver errors, all this stuff.
Typical Monza race.
But then we have to talk about the weather.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Here comes the rain.
it sounds like that forecast that we talked about earlier became a reality.
It did. It always does.
And the rain came around.
Yeah. And as we know, rain can be a game changer
Yeah.
in any motorsport race.
Absolutely.
Really transforms those track conditions.
Totally. And drivers have to make these split-second decisions
Wait a second. Yeah.
about tire strategy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can be tough
Yeah.
because you don't know how long the rain's going to last.
Right.
You don't know if it's going to be a light shower or a downpour.
Right. And you have to make that decision pretty quickly.
You do.
So it sounds like most drivers went for the intermediate tires.
Yeah.
Which are meant for...
Those are for damp conditions.
Yeah, damp, but not fully wet conditions.
Right.
Which seems like a logical choice, right?
Yeah. I mean,
When the rain starts coming down.
when the rain starts coming down.
Yeah. You got to think those are the right tires.
For sure.
But Rex decided to gamble a little bit.
He did.
And he stayed on the slicks.
Yeah.
The dry tires.
Yeah. He stayed out there.
Bold move.
It was risky.
Risky for sure.
Very risky.
Yeah, but it paid off.
It did?
Yeah, the track wasn't quite wet enough for those intermediates to
Right.
really be effective.
Yeah.
And the slicks ended up being faster.
Yeah.
And he
did.
So he just steadily gained on in feet
He did.
and ultimately snatched second place
Yeah.
by just 0.3 of a second.
0.3. That's close.
That's so close.
Yeah. Wow. Incredible finish.
Yeah, you could just see his strategy playing out lap by lap.
Yeah.
He was able to maintain that speed while everyone else was struggling a little bit on those intermediates.
For sure.
So T-Baz Alex takes the win.
Yeah.
Looking a little shaky on the intermediates.
Yeah, maybe if he had stayed out, he would have done even better.
Right.
Who knows?
Wow.
Interesting to think about.
And then Rex right behind him with that
Mhm.
strategic masterclass.
That's how you win races.
All right, so we've got to break down all these other performances.
Yeah.
The team standings.
Yeah.
What do you say we move on to the rest of the pack? Let's do it. All right, so let's take a look at the team standings now after this first race.
Yes.
Yeah, this is just the beginning of the season. But it gives us a little glimpse into how things might unfold.
Right.
So at the top of the leaderboard, we've got Mercedes.
Not a surprise.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
They're consistently a strong team.
Yeah.
You got T-Baz Alex with the win.
Yeah.
And Gerwin, he had a bit of an underwhelming performance,
Yeah, he did.
but still grabbed some points, so
Yeah.
they're starting off strong.
Okay, you said underwhelming for Gawain.
Yeah,
He finished 7th, which isn't terrible,
right.
but he's known for being pretty consistent.
Exactly. Yeah, for a driver like him, that's definitely not his best.
Right.
Um,
So what do you think happened there?
it's hard to say for sure, without looking at all the data.
Yeah.
But maybe he struggled to adapt to the changing track conditions.
Right.
Maybe some strategic decisions didn't quite work out.
It'll be interesting to see if he bounces back in the next race.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so hot on Mercedes' heels, we've got Red Bull.
Yeah.
They've got a really interesting dynamic there.
Yeah.
With Coitron, the rookie.
Yeah.
And McStone's the veteran.
The veteran, yeah.
Coitron finishing 6th
Yeah.
in his first race.
Amazing. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's a statement.
Absolutely.
If he can keep delivering those kinds of results, they could be a real challenge to Mercedes.
For sure.
And McStone's, even with those blackout moments, still
Yeah.
managed to finish top 10.
So on the points?
Yeah, 10th place.
Yeah.
Which I guess just goes to show,
Experience pays off.
yeah, that experience can really help you out.
Even when things aren't perfect.
Yeah, even when you're not having the best day.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got Mercedes, Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget about Ferrari.
Yeah.
Rex's strategy really helped them out.
Yeah, for sure.
Got them some valuable points.
Yeah.
And Tom Tarosa, consistently performing well, puts them right there in the mix.
Yeah, they're looking good.
Yeah.
They're looking good.
They finished 2nd and 4th.
Yeah, solid foundation.
Yeah, solid foundation for sure.
Definitely a team to watch.
Now, a team that really caught my eye was McLaren.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Krinsky starting last, climbing all the way to 8th.
Oh, wow.
And Joplop also putting in a solid performance.
That's a great drive by Krinsky.
Right.
Yeah, to make up that many positions.
That's incredible.
He's got some real skill, determination.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They finished 8th and 5th.
Yeah, that's a great showing for the team.
Now, we also had some new teams this season.
Yeah, we do.
Aston Martin with their driver, Batman.
The one and only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made a good first impression.
Yeah.
Finishing 11th.
Yeah, for a debut race.
That's
impressive.
Especially at Monza.
Yeah.
A tough track.
It is.
And then we have Haas. Yeah.
With Infeet and Kronks.
Yeah, the Haas boys. Bit of a mixed bag for them.
Yeah.
Infeet managed to get on the podium, but Kronks, had a tough race with those penalties.
Right.
Consistency is going to be key for them if they want to move up.
It seems like some teams are already finding their groove. Others are still
figuring things out.
Trying to figure things out.
Yeah, for sure.
What about the teams further down in the standings?
Yeah, Racing Bulls, Williams Sauber.
Yeah.
They've
got a lot of work to do.
They do, yeah.
But, we've seen it before in motorsport.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, one good race
can
turn things around.
A little bit of luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
One good strategy can really mix things up.
Yeah. That's why we love this sport.
That's why we watch.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we've covered the team standings.
Yeah.
Some standout driver performances.
Yeah. But there's another layer here that I think is really interesting.
Absolutely.
And that's the strategy.
The strategy. Yeah.
The strategic decisions that are happening.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
While the drivers are out there, the teams are, analyzing data, adjusting their strategies, making these decisions that can really impact the race.
Yeah. Like when that rain hit.
Oh, yeah.
Each team had to decide when to pit their drivers for those intermediates.
Right.
Some got it right. Some hesitated.
Yeah.
And some, like Rex,
Yeah.
made that bold call to stay out.
Yeah, that was a big one.
It's like a giant chess match.
It is, yeah.
Playing out in real time.
Absolutely.
And those decisions are made under a lot of pressure.
Oh, yeah. So much pressure. You've got to consider the weather, track temperature, tire wear, fuel levels, what your rivals are doing. Wow. It's a lot to think about.
It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really start to appreciate the mental side of motorsport even more.
For sure.
It's not just about driving fast.
It's about thinking strategically.
Strategically, yeah.
Making decisions under pressure.
Yeah.
Really being on top of your game.
Yeah. So you've got this interplay of, driver skill, team strategy, these unpredictable external factors like the weather.
Right.
It's what makes it so captivating to watch.
It is. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing when it all comes together.
Thinking back on this race, one moment keeps coming back to me.
Oh, yeah.
Rex's decision to stay out on slicks when everybody else pitted.
Bold move.
Such a gutsy call.
Yeah.
What do you think were the key factors?
That's a great question.
Yeah, that led to that decision.
We should take a closer look at that.
Yeah, it was a high-stakes gamble for sure.
Yeah, big time.
Most drivers, I think, when the rain hits, they just instinctively pit for those intermediates. Yeah.
But Rex went against the grain.
He did.
What do you think was going through his mind at that moment?
Well, I think a few things probably factored into it.
Back it.
First, you got to consider his position in the race.
Right.
He wasn't leading at that point.
Right.
So he had less to lose by taking a risk.
Yeah.
If he pitted and it didn't work out, he would have fallen even further behind.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
fortune favors the bold.
Exactly.
But I mean, it wasn't just blind luck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There had to be some strategy there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Rex is known for his calculated risks.
Okay.
He's a driver who pays attention to the details.
Yeah.
He probably assessed the intensity of the rain, how quickly the track was getting wet, maybe even considered what his rivals were doing.
So he was watching the other drivers,
Yeah.
seeing who pitted and who stayed out.
Exactly.
That's next level.
Yeah.
That's like 4D chess.
Yep.
4D chess. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to remember, too, tire choice isn't just about grip.
Right.
It's about tire wear as well.
Okay.
Intermediate tires wear down much faster on a dry track.
Oh, right.
So if Rex had pitted
Yeah.
and the rain hadn't intensified, he would have been at a disadvantage later in the race.
Ah, so he was thinking long term.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was betting on the rain being kind of a short burst.
Exactly.
Not a full-blown downpour.
Yeah, short shower.
And he was right.
He was right.
And that's what allowed him to close the gap on Infeet.
Right.
and get that second place.
Yeah, it was impressive.
It was a masterclass in race strategy.
It was.
It really highlights how important it is to think ahead in motorsport.
Absolutely.
This whole race has been full of these little aha moments, from Coitron's debut to Krinsky's charge.
Yeah.
There's so much to learn and unpack here.
So much to analyze, for sure.
It makes you really appreciate the complexity of the sport.
Yeah. It's not just about driving fast.
Yeah.
It's about strategy.
Yeah.
It's about thinking ahead.
Thinking ahead, yeah.
It's about...
It's a mental game as much as a physical one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is.
And it leaves me so excited for the rest of the season.
Oh, me too.
What are you going to be watching for?
Well, I'm really interested to see how those team dynamics evolve.
Yeah.
Will Mercedes continue to dominate?
Right.
Can Red Bull, with their young talent, challenge them?
Right.
And how are those new teams like Aston Martin going to adapt,
yeah,
to the pressures of the championship?
It's going to be a battle.
It is.
And we can't forget about the drivers.
Of course not.
Can Coitron keep up this performance?
Right.
Will Kronks, overcome those early struggles?
Yeah.
What other surprises do we have in store?
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen?
Right.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and let's not forget the unpredictable nature of motorsport.
Oh, yeah.
The weather.
The weather, yeah.
A safety car.
Safety car.
A mechanical failure.
Mechanical failures, yeah.
Anything can happen.
Anything.
That's why we keep coming back.
That's why we watch.
Yeah.
That's why we love it.
The season's shaping up to be a real nail-biter.
It is.
All right, so there you have it.
That's it.
We dissected this Nordic Virtual League season opener at Monza.
Analyzed all the key performances.
Nice.
Uncovered the strategies.
Yeah.
And, really set the stage for what looks to be an epic championship battle.
An epic championship battle it is.
As we look ahead to the rest of the season, one thing is clear.
Yeah.
The Nordic Virtual League...
It's a wild ride.
...is a wild ride.
You never know what's going to happen.
You never know what's going to happen.
Underdog stories.
Yeah.
Strategic brilliance.
Strategic brilliance can beat raw speed.
Absolutely.
So buckle up, get ready for more intense battles.
More battles.
More strategic masterclass.
Strategic masterclass, yeah.
More edge-of-your-seat finishes.
Edge of your seat for sure. We'll be back soon to break down the next race in the championship.
We'll be back.
Until then, keep those engines revving.
Keep them revving.
And those strategic minds sharp.
Strategic minds.
The Nordic Virtual League is just getting started.
It is.
And the race for the championship is wide open.
Wide open.